Hi guys. In case you're just stopping by my videos, I just popped up on your For You page maybe, I don't know. My name is Michelle and I have breast cancer, and I've been sharing my journey with everybody here on TikTok, on YouTube, and I decided I'm going to start adding Instagram into the mix. Why not? So today is Tuesday, September 30th, and tomorrow I am going to have a port implanted um, in preparation for the chemotherapy that I'm going to have. I don't have a specific date for when the chemo is starting yet, but the port will be implanted tomorrow. Um, I also, before the chemo starts, I have to have some other things done. I have to have an EKG, which originally was scheduled for October 10th. And then today I got a phone call from the doctor's office, the oncologist. She was reviewing my file and she realized that that date was a bit too far out. So they called me, told me, communicated to me that I needed to uh, push up the appointment if I could. So I reached out to the radiology and switched it, and now my EKG is this Saturday. So, I guess it's a good thing. I'm trying to look at it as a good thing that the doctor is looking at my file, that she is actively reviewing, and that it's not just sitting in a basket somewhere or in a rack somewhere collecting dust and waiting for me to show up for my chemo a week from now, 2 weeks from now, that she's actively looking at it and seeing what needs to be done and moving things forward. On the other side, should I take it as a sign that I needed this to be moved up? I don't know. It's already been a couple of weeks since we got the pathology back and discovered that there was more cancer in there than we originally thought. So maybe that's why, just because a lot of time has already passed. But I don't know. But again, I'm just grateful that somebody's actually looking at the files, that she's being proactive, and that things are happening. So the other thing that has to be done before I start the chemo is a body scan. We had put in for originally to do a PET scan, waited on approval for that. I got ultimately it was not approved, it was denied. I got that letter on Friday. Between yesterday and today, I finally spoke with the breast surgeon's office, who had ordered that, to follow up and make sure that next steps were being done. So the next steps would be to get a CAT scan and a bone scan, which I've talked about this in previous videos, but I've been assured that that has the same accuracy as a PET scan. It's just that it's done in 2 steps as opposed to the 1 step with the PET scan. So now we're waiting on the approval for the CAT and the bone scan, and then I have to get those done before the chemo starts as well. So it's the EKG, it's the port, which is happening tomorrow, the EKG, which is happening Saturday, and the CAT, the PET scan, which is still up in the air. Earlier today, I spoke with the oncologist's office, and she said, if at all possible, once you get that approval, if we can have the PET and the CAT and the bone scan done before the EKG, that would be great, because then we can start, as soon as the EKG is done, we can move forward. But I don't think that's going to happen, because the EKG is Saturday. Tomorrow's the bone scan. Oh my gosh, tomorrow's the implant, the port implant. So that really just leaves me 2 days to squeeze in a CAT and bone scan, and I really don't know what's involved with those. I can't imagine that they're quick. So, so most likely those will probably happen early next week, and then we could, in theory, start the chemo just as soon as the results come back for that. So that's where that's at. What else? I have a whole little list here of things to talk about. Actually, that was pretty much everything. I covered everything. Well, how about that? So I guess we'll just make this a quick one. Yeah, I have the port is being implanted tomorrow, and it is a decent, it's not a major procedure, but it's a procedure nonetheless, because it's done under the skin. It should be kind of in this area, like in the clavicle. My sister-in-law had to have this done, and she was explaining that the ideal place would be really like just below the clavicle, kind of like so that where my shirt sits, that it can kind of cover that. But obviously that's going to really depend on what my body looks like on the inside and what they find and what's the best place to put it. But I'm hoping that it could be somewhere decent right there. And it is subcutaneous, so you're not going to see anything, but if you touch, you could feel it. So they'll use that to do the chemo, which will be 6 months And alongside that are targeted meds for the HER2 plus, HER2 positive. Why can't I speak today? Sorry. The HER2 positive aspect of the cancer that I have. And then after that 6 months, the chemo stops, but the targeted meds continue on for another 6 months. So it's really a full year worth of treatment. We're going to try and take this day by day. I'm acclimating a little bit more to the notion. I was talking with somebody the other day, and it's not, it isn't just the diagnosis that gets you. For me, it's that this is my life now. This is all consuming. This is everything. My day-to-day schedule, my work schedule, my sleep schedule, my doctor schedule, my eating schedule. I can't eat after midnight tonight because I have the procedure tomorrow. Everything. My other medications are on hold. I've been on Zepbound, the generic version of Zepbound, since May, June, and now I had to stop taking that. I had to stop taking it prior to the lumpectomy, and then I was able to go back on for a couple of weeks, but now I have to stop taking it again for the port, and then I have to just be off of it completely for the chemotherapy. So, I was on a good trajectory to losing weight. I actually lost about 35 pounds from when I started to just a few days ago. I was looking forward to getting back into exercising again. I was starting to recover. I was starting to heal. I was starting to feel better from an accident I was in last year. Yeah, my life's been a shit show these last couple of years. But things were starting to turn around, and now I have this that I have to deal with. So I think the more I get used to it, the more I'll be able to be a little bit positive about it, and maybe kind of structure things that, I don't need everything to be about it. So this past weekend, I had a really great weekend. I went out Saturday night with some friends to a comedy show, and early on I'm like, I don't want to talk about this at all. Let's just laugh at the comedians. Let's talk about whatever else we want to talk about. I don't really want to talk about this. I went to karaoke afterwards, had a great time. Sunday I went and I met up with some old college friends. We went to dinner, went to see a show. One of my friends is actually in the band in a show, my friend Peter. So proud of him. It was a great show. If you get a chance, it's called Saturday Church. We really, really enjoyed it. Anyway, I need to keep doing things that are my life outside of the breast cancer, because I am not just breast cancer. I am so much more than that. But during this initial phase, everything is just all consumed by it. So I'm hoping that once I get at least into the structure and the pattern of the chemo, I'm not looking forward to doing chemo, but at least I know it's a structure. It's a specific schedule. It's once every 3 weeks, that I'll be able to work around that. I can continue to do the theater that I love. I can continue to do the karaoke. I can do all these things and have my life continue to be about more than just the cancer, because I am not just this cancer. I guess that's it. Yeah, so I think that's it for today. But, thank you again for watching, for listening. I really do appreciate it. If you want to support, I shared a video maybe a week or so ago. If you really want to support, what I would genuinely appreciate is if you visited my Etsy shop. I have a bunch of products there, some cancer related things, some not, just a whole bunch of things. But if I can get that going, that would be great. That would really help out, because this is really putting a damper on my ability to work between the schedules of the appointment schedules, and I don't know what my recovery is going to be. I don't know how I'm going to handle the chemo moving forward. It's going to be a lot, and it's really going to impact my work life. So if I can, with your help, get that Etsy stuff going, that would be really great. I'll put the link in the comments, and hopefully you can check it out. But if not, really, it's fine. Or if you just share the link or whatever, just go look at it so I know people are looking. That'd be great too. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Take care. Maybe I'll post again tomorrow after the implant. I don't know. We'll have to see how I feel. Have a good night.